Same deal. Three no starts in the past 2 days, and all of them have dead batteries. So let's take this one to the parts store next. All right, welcome back to the Roadside Rescue YouTube channel. First look at this car here if I make a video about it. This is the neighbors on a job I was just finishing up. And they've got, let's see which one's positive. That one's positive, so I'm not sure. This one out. This car isn't starting. They think the battery died. It kind of shut off what was running the other day, and they can't find the key. So, but the battery's dead, can't test it. A lot of corrosion here, so we'll be cleaning these up when I come back. But same thing I've been doing on the last 2 jobs. Taking a dead battery out, charging it, and coming back the next day. So, there you go. There's your intro. Curious that every single one of these has been an interstate battery that is almost exactly a year old, and this one's less than a year old, but the other 2 were June from last year, and it's early July now. Probably bought it less than a year ago because that's the manufacturer date, and this one's from October of last year. So very curious. Might not mean anything, but it might be a little bit more than a coincidence as well. Oh boy, I thought it was hot yesterday. It's even hotter today. Yesterday was 103. Oh boy, I thought it was hot yesterday. It's even hotter today. Yesterday was 103. So we've got this battery here. It supposedly took a charge. All right, I'm gonna close that because these tools get way too hot back here. Not that anything breaks, but then I have to grab it and use it, and it's way hot. So here's this battery. We're gonna clean these terminals before I bring it in there. Or those are the posts. I'm also gonna clean the terminals. I got my little 2-in-1 tool to do that though, so we'll put this on here. Actually, I may show you a battery tester I've been looking at too, just as kind of like a little, one of the companies I bought some tools from sent it to me, so I may show it to you. I've got a few battery testers, so I've reviewed those, so maybe I'll just show you this one as well. It's actually this one I've been using it. I just used it to actually test that other battery on that job that we did. There is no parasitic draw. It was well over 100% charged, and that's not really possible unless you consider that cold cranking amps, which was an 800 cold cranking amp battery. It's not very cold outside, so it was putting out 934 cold cranking amps. And it was 100% charged, 12.4 volts, so here's this one. So let's get it all cleaned up, put it in there. I'll show you that battery tester is pretty cool. I like to use stuff long enough to say, before I show it to anybody, and say this is a good tool, because I may be wrong. So here's the problem with this vehicle. I don't remember if I mentioned it. There's no stairs coming into this garage. That's nice. You get some gloves, some battery cleaner, but anyways, yeah, basically I mentioned it, I think, that they've driven this car for a while. The odometer is incorrect, supposedly. Somebody else told them that. They think it was an old taxi from out of state, and they bought it because it didn't run, so it sat in a field for 2 months, and then they went over there one day and tried to turn it on, and it started. So they've been driving it for months, and still ran. He was driving it the other day, and as the guy was driving it, it died. So they said that it's been having the key little indicator come up on the dash forever, but they don't know where the key is. They just assumed it was inside because it would start. I have no idea what that means. We've got my scan tool to see if there's any sort of code for that, but stored, there's not going to be much. So we're going to have to run system tests because the battery's been dead and out of it at this point. But hopefully it gives us something to go off of. Hopefully it just says something obvious like no connection to key found. Then we'll know, okay, we look for the key. If it's not present, we got to get a key for it. And, I don't know if I can do anything about that because I don't have the original, so they may have to take it to the dealership to get that figured out. It's probably going to be a couple $100. So grab this. Scan tool won't need it. Unless, I don't know, maybe I put this in there and it starts up and then I say, JWD, job well done. My eyes can't see this very well, but I'm sure the camera adjusts its brightness quicker than my eyes do, so maybe you can see this. Assuming you can, just clean up this. There it goes. Battery cleaner stuff. I'm surprised that's all yellow because there's definitely oxidation, but that must not be. what this stuff's looking for. We'll let that sit for a few minutes, wipe it off. Usually I do it twice. Then we'll clean them out with a little cleaner that scrapes a fresh little layer of metal and go from there. Maybe now I'll plug it in first because I don't want to look for this key if I don't need to. If it starts up and everything looks fine, I'll just say everything looks fine. We'll see. And actually, while I'm out here just waiting on that battery cleaner to work, let me just show you this scan tool from Kingbolen. This is where I get my scan tools from, the Kingbolen company that sells those launch scan tools I have. Yeah, again, I wouldn't like endorse anything if I didn't actually think it was worth it, but this one's really nice. I usually use my one with the printout, and I'll be honest with you, but this one actually does some things actually better than that one with the printout. So I actually just take a picture of the screen. That's what I've been doing for customers. So I don't have an issue with it, especially nowadays. You can just take a picture of the screen and send it to them. So you can look at like waveform, playback, records, multimeter as well. So we can go like check battery. We can check and see how it's doing. Do a quick test. What we can do, we can even say out of the vehicle. It's a regular battery. Cold cranking amps has 700. And this is my favorite part, this little screen here. It says good, cold cranking amps 955. Again, it's not cold outside, so that's really good. The multimeter is cool as well. It's kind of like those old style battery testers where you can put it on there. Check the charging system, check your cranking. Just gives you like a little old style readout on that. So that's useful if you just want to watch it as it's starting and stuff. And lastly, I mean, you can do other things, but just a quick little look at it. Check it out. I'll put a link in the description. I don't know if they sent me one, but I'll ask them for a link if you can get one. If not, then I guess I want to include this. Yeah, so if you're interested in one of these, just check out the link in the description. Maybe I'll ask them for a discount as well. No guarantees on that. And yeah, pretty cool. My go-to right now, but that one with the printout I've been using equally. We'll see how it goes in the future. I've been using this one for a couple weeks, and I like it. Right, just got that wiped off, the cleaner, and just scraped clean with a wire brush. Just a little brass brush there. Let me just slap that negative on there now so it stays on. All right, tighten the negative down first so we don't get sparkies. And this did just come off the quick charger again. When I do that, I like to plug in the negative first. I usually always do negative first. Everybody has their own opinions on which one should go on first. I use negative personally because I've had batteries explode on me and hydrogen gas builds up around the negative because it's positively charged. So if you get a spark over there, especially off of a rapid charger, and if it has a buildup of hydrogen gas, that's where it's going to explode. So yeah, to reduce the risk of that, I just plug in the negative first, especially if they've come off of a quick charger. Some people do it differently. That's my way. I also don't always wear safety glasses, but the battery might explode. It's not a bad idea. Okay, let's check out this car, see if it starts. If not, see if there's any codes on it. It is a push start, so I can at least turn it into auxiliary position without the key. This thing's hard to keep track of. Okay, Mr. Car. I should plug this in first. Let's see if it starts actually. Up here, the trunk's open. There's that key symbol. Well, because they told me they had to start putting it close to something. You know, these will have like a radio transmitter inside the key and a receiver. And when the battery dies, the RF... Okay, it actually just started. That was weird. But when the battery dies, you actually have to get it close to the receiver because the RFID chip will actually still put out its radio signature. So they were saying they had to put it close, and then at some point they couldn't find it. This totally just started though. I don't know where the key is, so maybe it's in here. I don't know what I'm gonna tell them. The check engine light's not even on. Maybe their battery just died. I'm gonna look through all the live data. Make sure we got alternator going. This is a hybrid, so I'll look at maybe the hybrid engine module, see if it's got its charging system and everything working, and see if there's any sort of code stored. Maybe it's got some sort of issue that's just not obvious. So I'm not gonna just end it here. I'll look through some data. That's funny though, because I totally wasn't even pressing the start button at that point. It just boom, popped up by itself. So weird, but I'm not super familiar with these hybrids. This one's a Toyota. Oh, there's some shaking. Not sure what that was. I could still feel it shaking, and it doesn't feel like a misfire. It feels like something's unbalanced in some sort of spinning part. I don't know how the hybrid generator works or anything like that, but it could be something like that as it kicked on. We'll see. Man, this tool definitely does everything. It's like awesome. Anyways, this will tell me everything I need to know here. We'll do a health report, which will pull up all the system, all the fault codes and all the systems. Again, this has been unplugged for however long, it doesn't matter. It's unplugged long enough and dead to reset the computer, so I'm probably not going to get a ton right now. And sometimes you'll see a bunch of communication errors, so if those come up, I'll erase them and see what comes up as new. Okay, while I was recording there, actually you could just see that turned off on it by itself. Kind of get started by itself. I don't know what this is doing. I know with these hybrids, actually sometimes they'll just, yeah, they'll turn off kind of like that. I don't know if that's common, but I know sometimes like when you're sitting in traffic and the battery's fully charged, it may turn off by itself. So we'll see. See what happens if I put it in reverse. Yeah, that's hybrid. Definitely wanted to move on us there. Same thing there. Cool. Okay. I don't think there's an issue with that engine not running then, as long as this knows it's sitting here fully charged or something like that. So definitely moving. Let's see. Health report. So this can't be super conclusive again because the battery's just plugged in and the systems haven't completely run, but there's no issues in anything engine or hybrid control. So that's promising. I'm going to go through the live data of those and see if anything looks out of place. And then ABS, I'm not worried about. Brake booster pump motor on time, abnormally long, low pressure, high voltage output. Yeah, so those may go away, but that's not my focus here, is to get this thing back running. And I heard it kick on, but all right, so misfire count 0. That I thought it didn't feel like a misfire, and we don't have a misfire count from when it was running, so that's good. If you're interested to know, all 17 of the cells in the hybrid battery are looking right around 17. That's maybe the generator kicked on. I'm not sure what's making that noise up there, but it's definitely putting a load on the engine. That's when they kind of all jumped down below 17. They all look very even, is my point.